Catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.
You're listening to Africa Tech Radio. My name is Lillian, and this is Tech Untapped, that particular podcast where we give you some things you didn't know that you might not know about certain things, okay? And today, we're going to be talking about some innovations, right? Now, imagine you have an innovation, and you're looking at a particular feature in that innovation and you feel like, okay, this is a mistake because I don't even know what to do with this particular feature. It has to be an error, right? Maybe they just didn't know what to do and they decided to put this there with no apparent reason. But let me tell you that every creator has a reason for putting anything in their creation. They don't just put anything for putting sake. There's a reason behind everything. And today we're going to be telling you about that, right? See, I'm literally asking you if you have ever noticed little things on everyday item that seem random. I just want to tell you that all these things have secret reasons behind them. Some of them are secret and some not so much, all right? So I'm going to be telling you about some of them and you're going to find out about what they're all about. We're going to start with the oven drawer. Now, before I do this, I follow a certain young man on Instagram, on social media, Facebook and Instagram, and he talks about food a lot. So he posted a video of a lady say she had one Oreo on a plate and said, so let us put this in the microwave for a minute. And she puts it in something that looks like a drawer and pushes a button and it was slowly going. And the guy was like, I don't know about you, but I've never seen a microwave that does this, right? So he googled it and he couldn't find what he was looking for, so he went to Home Depot, and that was when they told him that, bro, I don't think you should keep on looking because you cannot afford this particular microwave. He said, what are you talking about? Are you trying to call me broke? The dude said, you can't afford it. He said, okay, how much is it? He said $2,000. Oh yeah, bro, you're right. I have no business looking for this particular microwave. So I went to the comments, and the comment section was wild. Somebody first of all asked that, why would I buy a $2,000 worth of microwave and I'm hitting one Oreo? Well, some other people are saying that, like, you have no business buying that kind of microwave, the fancy microwave where you have to, push the button. Another one said that the moment the pushing of the button itself, normally in other microwaves you would have heated what you want to heat before that tray goes in. But well, when I was watching this, all I could think about was something I read about the real reason your oven drawer exists. Yes, I'm talking about the drawer that is at the bottom part of your gas cooker and the oven. Your cooker has an oven and the bottom part is the drawer. Some people just store things there, like fish when they don't want to use it or anything. But do you know that drawer at the bottom of your oven is not only for... In fact, they don't put it there for you to be putting in fish and some things that you don't want inside rats to touch alone. On many ovens, it is meant to keep your food warm until you're ready to eat it. So find out if your oven has that feature. If it does, then you can use it as a heater. I know that you didn't know that. Also, have you ever wondered why people like using wooden hangers instead of the plastic ones, which are just really cheap? Well, some of these wooden hangers are made from cedar wood, and it smells nice, but they don't just smell like that for fancy. They keep bugs away from your clothes, like moths, because bugs do not like cedar wood. That is why you see people look for a particular kind of wooden hanger to buy for their clothes, because they don't want to hear that, okay, something it's... Oh, do you know, my God, we have seen things in this life. Many years back, I hung my clothes, so I said, okay, let me go and wear this perfect. I like comfort. I don't like anything that would restrict my airflow. That is why till today I have not worn all those what do they call those things, tummy trimmer or whatever they call it. No, I can't breathe right now. I can't even breathe with my trouser normal buckle. I had to remove it because I need to breathe, right? So what am I saying? I said let me go and pick up my comfortable shirt. This shirt feels like clouds all over me. So I said, okay, let me pick it up. I took it out of the hanger. I wore it and I left the house. My friend was like, what's happening now? Why is your shirt, why does it have holes on it? I said, what are you talking about? I don't know why. I don't know what. Oh, my shirt doesn't have holes on them. She said, don't you have eyes? Look. And I looked, and there were holes on my shirt. Do you know what I did? I was outside, so I took a pair of scissors and put holes at the other part because it was on one shoulder. I put holes on the second shoulder so that it will match and to be giving some kind of Kanye West vibes. But it was embarrassing. But you cannot come to me. I mean, that is fashion. Fashion is anything these days. But if I had used cedarwood hangers, that probably wouldn't have been something to even think about. So that is another thing that you don't know why people even purchase it. But inventors, you get why did they invent, what did they invent? You get. And if you listen to Back to Base on Africa Tech Radio, you would hear some of the reasons people even start a business in the first place. And now, let's move to this one. I know that everybody has a sink in the house. I'm talking about kitchen sink or a bathroom sink. If you don't have, sorry, one day you get. But if you have a sink, you'd have seen a hole on the side of the sink. It is just underneath the tap. Now, when I was growing up, I did something bad, right? You know, there's this plug on the old sinks used to have this black plugs connected to a chain, so you can plug the hole and use water to do anything. I was just so curious, and then I put that through that sinkhole and cut the chain because I could not bring it out back. So it just appeared like that. If you ask me what happened, I don't know. But I know you might have been thinking about why that hole is there in the first place. You think, okay, it's useless, but it is not useless. It is actually there for some important jobs. First of all, it will help air escape when you're draining water. So when water is going out, air has to pass somewhere, so that gives it the avenue to do that. And secondly, if you leave your tap open, that hole will prevent water from overflowing, right? You didn't know that? Oh my gosh, you're welcome. Don't worry, that is why we're here on Africa Tech Radio. If you had shoes, that's the Converse shoes. If you have or you had Converse shoes, there are two holes that are near the bottom of the shoes, right? And some people was like, maybe it's because of they want it to be hydrated. They want the shoes to have hair to enter inside. No, it is not because of that. Maybe that can come in handy because sometimes you might start off an invention for something and end up inventing something else. It happens. So that can also be another reason for it. But the original reason is because they were made for lacing shoes in a different way. Because that particular shoe was made for basketball players. And if you want to play basketball with that shoe, you need it to be really tight. So you can lace it in a way, if you pass it through those holes, it will be tighter. Tech on Tap on Africa Tech Radio. My name is Lillian, and we have been telling you about some of those things in everyday items or on everyday items that you thought were just random, but they have reasons. They are there. They have a purpose. They were brought to this earth for a reason. Don't mind me. So I've told you about the oven drawer, right? How you can use that to heat foods in some ovens, and the hangers that are made of wood, especially if it's cedarwood, why it is there. Cedarwood repels bugs. The sink hole, why that small hole on the side of a sink is there, and the holes on the Converse shoes, why they are there. I think we have a recurring theme, holes. But if you are like me, who love boots. I love boots. I love boots so much. Like, I've always loved boots as a kid. But as I don't get money to buy the boots I like now, I just they lock up on a low key. But later on, I used to have some boots that I love, and I start getting them one after the other. And I think I'm getting out of control, but I do not care. I'm putting on one right now. But if you love boots, or you have boots, or you have seen boots, and you see those loops that are at the back of the boots, those loops that your finger can go through, people think that particular loop is for, to help you pull up your boots when you're putting it on. and some people think it's just for style, but you know that you can use them to hang your boots to dry, or to tie your shoelaces through them when you do something rigorous like hiking, or you're trekking and you don't want to step on your ropes, the shoelaces, because sometimes they can get undone and you have to start kneeling every single time to tie it. You can put it through there before tying it and it works, right? But why is actually there is for you to be able to hang it up to dry, right? You can hang it on a hook and it will dry easily. Now know. Now you know. Now I know that this one might be a thing that is known by people who drive, while some people might just be oblivious to that, because I took an Uber. You think that people know why things are, why they are there, but you can be mistaken at times. I took an Uber recently, and I told the man I didn't want the car to be hot, right? But I didn't want it to be too cold either. I mean, there's a balance. So I said, can you reduce the AC, please? That is how polite I can be. I'm not touching my horn or anything. Anyway, he said, no, it isn't the lowest. I said, okay, can you try increasing the heat? Just a bit. My guy said, no, I know they touch that side, though. That side, they touch arm. I said, why? Is it bad or something? He said, no, that's high. I've never touched it since I've avoided driving it, and I don't want to touch it now so that it will not spoil. And I said, so don't touch it though, for my own sake, so it's not spoil. And that says Lillian, I say you should not. I never get car, so I'm going to leave you alone. But that is why I do this, because of people who don't know, right? So if you look at the gauge, that place where you see whether your petrol or your gas is full or empty, there's a gauge. It's called a petrol gauge or a fuel gauge or a gas pump gauge. You see a gas pump symbol that tells you which side the gas cap is on, right? And you see it has an arrow there. That arrow will tell you where the machine is. That is I'll rephrase that. The arrow on the fuel gauge, that arrow that is close to the symbol of fuel pump, right? It tells you where your fuel tank is. So when you want to go to the filling station, you don't have to start driving and looking for where it is. You just know that it is at the right or at the left. Do you know why those keyboard bumps are there? Now, this is mostly on your laptop, right? If you check your laptop right now, even your desktop keyboard, if you check it right now, you feel a bump on the F and the J of your keyboard. There's one small bump there. Now, these bumps are to help you place your fingers where you're supposed to place them so you can type without looking, right? You can feel those bumps and then you know where your hands are on the keyboard. That is if you learned how to type professionally. You understand what I'm talking about, right? Moving on, there's a difference between women bikes and male bikes. There's a difference. You see the straight bar and then the curved bar, and you say, okay, maybe they put it so that when the lady is trying to cross her leg, she doesn't have to raise it up too much, or maybe it's because it's for short people to. The reason I'm talking about the bar that between the thighs, right? That bar that is usually there. The women bikes has low bars. This is for people, as women back then, they used to wear dresses a whole lot, so it made it easier for them to get on and off without any trouble because of their dresses. That is why they made it like that, not because for short people. Well, short people benefit from that too, but that is not the reason. Justice for short people. And the reason I even started talking about this in the first place was because of the tiny pocket on jeans. If you're wearing a jean right now, and I'm talking about jeans, denim, you'd know that there's a small pocket on your jeans right now. That small pocket, when I was younger, I used to use to hide money. I fold the money really, really tight and hide it there. Lillian, do you have any money? No, I don't have money. You can check my pocket. But there's money there, or there's something I don't want to get missing. People use it to put candies, they put notes, they put change. Well, that is not the original reason for that. Jeans were made long ago for miners, because it's really durable. Jeans, especially the ones that the quality they used to make was fantabulous. So miners, they had pocket watches. So that little pocket was for the watches. The metal buttons on the jeans were added to make them tougher for rough conditions. So now you know. Have you ever used a measuring tape? Right, there's a hole, a rough edge at the end of the measuring tape to keep things easy, help you mark things easily. But there's also a small hole there, so you can use that hole to hook the tape into a nail if you're measuring a place from where that nail is. Isn't that amazing? I told you, they don't put things there for no reason. There's a reason for every little detail put into these inventions. And finally, in some panties, there are little pockets underneath the panties, right? And people used to wonder why that pocket is there. Well, it's called a gusset, and it is there for hygiene. Some gussets are used for testing, washing methods, while others are there for holding things in place. Don't ask me what things they are holding in place, okay? But it is there for a reason. And on that note, I'm going to say bye-bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to catch up on all the live shows right here on africatechradio.com.